Peace and blessings, beautiful people. Peace and blessings. This is Empress Imani, and welcome to this episode of Sacred Love Lessons. So today, you guys, we are having a love talk. I'll give out a few tips at the end so you can hold, your pen, your journal, your paper until then. But we're just going to talk today in our love talk over a cliff. Over a cliff, transference of negative energy. So what does this mean? We're talking about energy harvesting. Now, energy harvesting is the process by which energy is derived from external sources, captured and stored. This is a spiritual conversation, you guys. Now, scientifically, this has been proven, but today we're going to talk about it from a spiritual perspective, right? Transference of negative energy. Have you ever just say you were dating someone or maybe it was just a friendship, right? Friend, whatever, colleague, work buddy, whatever. And you're in a good feeling. You're having a good feeling. You're in good spirits and everything is fine. And then this person comes around and all of a sudden they come in with their negative energy. They're complaining and whining. They're, even if they don't do that, they're just in a down mood, right? Low vibing mood. And then when they leave, you feel exhausted, right? And somehow the person has transferred their negative energy onto you. You can see an example of that in that movie with Morris Chestnut and Vivica Fox. Two Can Play That Game, the first one. You can see the negative transference of energy. Go watch that movie if you haven't seen it. So anyway, energy can be transferred in various ways. And I'm just going to give you a few. One, you can transfer energy by touch, right? You can see an example of that in that movie Fallen with Denzel Washington. It's called Fallen. You can see it in that movie, right? Also, you can see it in the Travis Scott ritual. You guys know what happened at Astro World about a week ago down in Houston. Now, my question is this, and maybe other people have questioned this, I don't know. Why did Travis and Drake have on gloves? Okay, I'm just going to put that question out there. Why did they have on gloves? But you can see, if you go and you watch the footage, you can see the transference of energy, negative energy, throughout the crowd. Everybody was like butt to gut, right? They were crammed, packed in there, and you can see the energy flowing over the audience. So that's one example. You can transfer negative energy by sight, by what you see, negative visual images like horror movies, negative things that you see on the internet, the news. Before you watch the news, you could be feeling good. And then you watch the news, especially if you're watching world news, right? You watching it and then boom, afterward you feel low, you feel down, you feel sad. These are all low vibing energies. You can transfer negative energy by words, invocation. Now, one thing that came to mind with this example was that movie, Stephen King's Children of the Corn. That came out in 1984. I know I'm dating myself right now, but that was about these children where this evil energy told them to kill all of the adults in order to receive a successful corn harvest, right? And so you saw a whole lot of not only imagery and sound, but words too in that movie. And if anybody knows anything about Stephen King, he's been serving up dark energy his whole career, right? This is his area. This is what he write about, right? Another way to transfer negative energy is by focus. Whatever you focus on, you give your power to, right? Whatever you focus on. So if you focus on sad, dark things, that's where your energy is going to, right? Another way is by sex, spell work, copycat magic, blood sacrifice, right? And I also would say we saw the blood sacrifice at the Travis Scott ritual over at Astro World. To me, that was a blood sacrifice because unfortunately 8 people, I think maybe they're up to 10 now, have lost their lives. Rest in power. My condolences go out to the family and friends of those 10 souls. May the Holy Spirit comfort your minds and hearts during this time of grief and loss. Another way that you can transfer negative energy is by energy itself, low vibing energy, rage, anger, hate, fear, grief, apathy, envy, jealousy, guilt, shame, sadness, chaos, right? Creating an environment of chaos will create a negative energy, transference of negative energy. Again, at the Astro World event, we saw where Travis Scott opened a portal. Now, we're talking about it on a spiritual level, you guys. He opened a portal to negative energy. All of the rage that people brought with them, all of that negative energy, it opened a portal. And not just the energy that the people brought, the energy that Travis brought, that he generated from his performance, but the frequency, the sounds that he played during the ritual, the imagery, with the demon flying down at the very beginning. I've seen demons fly over the crowd. I know I saw at least one. The imagery of the souls that were walking along the top of the platform. His shirt, which represented a demonic portal, like his clothes that he had on were symbolic of the opening, right, of the portal. So there was a lot going on and a lot of negative energy being transferred during that ritual. Let's talk about who does this. Okay, a person who sells their soul. But it seemed like now it seemed commonplace where people, they literally sell their souls. And we hear people say that. I watched a video the other day. I don't know if the person was joking or not. Video where she says she sold her soul. I don't know, you guys. I don't know. But a lot of celebrities, it has been said that a lot of celebrities, in order to get the fame, the wealth, the power, the houses, the cars, etc., the money, that they go through this process, this ritual where they sell their soul to the devil, right? To negative energy. And then it has been said that some of them will even sacrifice people that they love, whether it be a family member or spouse, someone that they may have romantic feelings for, a child, things like that. They sacrifice, because they have a quota, or in order to be initiated, they sacrifice someone that they love in exchange for the money, the fame, the power, the wealth, the houses, the cars, the trips, all the fancy stuff, the clothes, the bags, the shoes. Yeah. So let me shed a little light, right? Matthew 16:26 states, "What good will it be for someone to gain the whole world, yet forfeit their soul? Or what can anyone give in exchange for their soul?" How much is your soul worth? Like all that stuff, the money, the fame, the wealth, the power, all the material things, all the 3D things, right? How much is it worth? Okay, how much is it worth? Because you can't buy more time, right? You can't buy more time. Maybe in modern day medicine, you can tap in and access certain things. Even on a spiritual level, you can tap in and access certain things on a health level. But at some point, right? At some point, the rules of this dimension say you have to leave. We all have a return ticket. So you can't be here forever. So you're exchanging something, your soul, that's eternal, right? That has eternal life in exchange for something that's temporal, something that is temporary. And then a lot of times they get these things and they're not even happy. You're still not happy. I remember seeing this interview, and I spoke about it like before in a previous episode, where it was Angelina Jolie, and this was like years ago, where she said she was listening to all these people around her, and they told her, they said, okay, if you get a really nice acting career, you'll be happy. She did that. They said, okay, if you make this amount of money, you'll be happy. She did that. She still wasn't happy. They said, okay, if you get married and you have children, you'll be happy. She did all those things. And she said at the end of all that, she had all this stuff. She had the children. She had the husband. And she still wasn't happy. I'm going to see if I can find that interview. You probably could go over and find it on YouTube. But I'm going to see if I can find it. If I find it, I'll link it below for you to refer back to that. But she said in the interview, she did all of those things that everyone told her, and she still was not happy. Happiness comes from within. I hope she's learned that lesson by now, that you can't fill your life up with these temporary things and expect internal happiness. Happiness comes from within and then comes outward. It manifests outward into your external world. Back to the negative transference of energy. So certain people appear to have sold their soul. I don't know if they did or not. I'm just telling you what I'm seeing from my perspective, right? But how do you get that back, right? Because I imagine that there are no refunds or exchanges, that you can never pay enough to buy back your soul. Now, what's happened? Let's say, hypothetically, for the sake of the conversation, that you went through that process. You was initiated into something, and now you've gone off to some kind of camp, and you're trying to cleanse your energy. You're eating bay leaves, Maybe you called your pastor or something and you're trying to tap into light energy, because the demons that you have summoned are now terrorizing you. You can't sleep, right? You can't sleep at night. You're hearing voices. You think you might have schizophrenia. You don't know what's going on with you. But you've opened a portal and you've tapped into this energy, right? Or maybe you're connecting with someone who has tapped into that energy, because everyone that went to that concert, I've watched several videos. There were some people that said, we had a feeling. That was God speaking to you. That was your angels, your ancestors, your orishas telling you, don't do this, don't go here. That was your intuition nudging you, right? They didn't listen. And people were saying, we had a feeling that something wasn't right, Then we found ourselves in a precarious situation. Our life was in danger. This one young man, he said that it was so demonic. He was full of fear. And see, that's another low-vibing energy that evil will feed on. Fear. They feed on that, right? And demons, they need to feed. And that's what that was, which is what was posted on Twitter before the concert, saying that you were going to a feast. But I think everybody thought it was a joke. I don't know what they were thinking. I really don't know. But one young man said that he saw people dying all around him. He saw people passing out. He was able to get out, and something in him just kept telling him to leave, to leave, to leave. He hesitated for a moment, and then he said he just was overcome with fear. He just ran out of there, And there were other people that were like, man, we got out and we was just grateful to get out, I don't know, I wasn't there. My prayers, my heart goes out to all of you who went through that process, right? My recommendation to you is to get to the light. Get to the light, be the light. You hear me say that all the time. Be the light. Now, let me tell you some ways. I'm going to share some ways. You may want to grab your pen and pencil or your journal. At this point, I'm going to share some ways with you on how to prevent transference of negative energy as it relates to you. 1, the first thing you want to do is go to the Most High in prayer and ask for help. It doesn't have to be anything elaborate or anything like that. Just say, God, please help me. Please help me, okay? I need some direction in my life. Please help. You may not know what to say. Just say, God, please help me. That's enough. Okay, that's enough to get you started. In the Bible, it says, ask, and it should be given unto you, right? So ask for help. Number 2, activate your archangels. Talk directly to Archangel Michael. He's known for protection. And Archangel Chamuel. Archangel Chamuel is the archangel of love and light. Okay, love and light is a high frequency that overrides evil, right? Overrides negative energy. In Proverbs, it says, overcome evil with good. Love and light is good, and it will overcome any negative energy, right? Number 3, cut all energy cords that may be connected to your energetic field. So if you out here listening to the music, right, you need to let that go. Delete all that stuff. Any pictures you may have, ringtones on your phone, anything related to that situation, whatever it may be. It doesn't have to be the Astral World situation specifically, just anything. Burn the photos, delete the text, burn the letters, right? Cut all the cords with whoever is generating that negative energy, whatever it is. Person, place, or thing, cut all the cords to it immediately, right? Throw that stuff out. Then you want to protect your energy field with prayer, crystals, divine white light. Return to sender, okay? You can return that negative energy back to its sender, okay? I return all negative energy to anyone who has negative intentions toward me, anyone who has sent me negative energy, all entities, anyone who's plotting, planning, scheming against me. I return all of that energy back to its source, okay? Then you can banish people. Okay, you can banish people from your reality. So that's something else you can do. Number 5, cleanse your energy. Take spiritual baths, cleanse your space, your mind, body, spirit. You may want to meditate. Clean up your home, right? Clean up your home. Be mindful of what you're eating as well. Okay, be mindful of what you're drinking. Drugs and alcohol will lower your vibration and will make you vulnerable to negative energy, okay? And some foods too, heavy, dense foods will also do that as well. Heal whatever childhood traumas or any trauma you may be holding on to. If you're holding on to unforgiveness, that's a negative energy. Anger, shame, guilt, any of those, rage, any of that, release all of that. Release it. Just give it up. Release it, right? And then you want to check your relationships. Who are you connected to? Because it may not even be coming from you. It could be coming from someone that you're connected to. Someone that you may be connected to could be involved in some dark stuff. You got to cut them off. It don't matter who they is. Family, friend, don't matter. They got to go, right? Be careful of who you allow to touch you. Avoid large, close-knit crowds like what we saw at Astroworld. You don't want to be in that position where you just butt to gut like that. That's not good. Energy is being transferred throughout all those people. If you go back and you look at some of the footage, you can see how the whole crowd, they said it was like 50,000 people out there. I don't know, but you can see the whole crowd touching butt to gut, and they were all swaying in the same motion. Those who were not swaying in the same motion, they were down on the ground being trampled. So you want to avoid large, close-knit crowds like that. Be mindful of what you watch. Be mindful of who and what you listen to. I know the other day, it was just an innocent situation where I was listening to Kelly Rowland and Nelly. Shout out to y'all. It was that Dilemma song. And before, a lot of times I don't know the words to the song. I'm not a really good singer. I don't know the words. And I just kind of hum along because the tune, the melody is kind of catchy, And so the other day I was listening to that song Dilemma, and I heard her say something about she think about you even when she with her boo. I said, what'd she say? And then I had to replay it so I could hear what she said. And that was what she said. I was like, oh, no, we got to turn that off. I said, cancel. I had to cancel that out of my energy field because I'm not into adultery. I'm not into polygamy. I'm not into any of that, right? I'm a happily married goddess, and we happy over here. So I'm not trying to bring that spirit into my home. And I'm definitely not saying those words. I'm not singing along. I'm not singing that. And so, yeah, that had to go, right? Then you want to be mindful of what you focus on. Go outside, spend some time in the sun. Just, even if it's just for a few minutes. Scientifically, they say you only need like 15 minutes of sun to activate your vitamin D. That will help you feel better. That will also raise your vibration. Spend some time in nature, okay? Being in nature, because everything is alive, everything is thriving, it will help you feel better. If you live near the water, go down by the beach, go down by the river, go down by the lake, wherever there's a body of water, even if it's man-made, just go down there and listen to the water. Listening to 432 hertz, which is the way water moves, right? That's the frequency water moves on, 432. If you can't do any of that, go over to YouTube and pull up 432. I say pull up 432, pull up 528. Those are two frequencies that you can listen to for love, for peace, for calm, right? And then keep your vibrations high. You can go back to our episode, Dig in Our Crates. We have an episode called Vibe High on ways to raise your vibration. These may be covered in there. We may have some additional ways in that episode, but you can go back and check that out. So that's all I have for you today. I hope this episode has been of value to you. And until we speak again, be the light.
I'm coming on here to talk about my experience at Astrofest. It is extremely traumatizing. I've never experienced anything like that in my entire life. Probably because I've never been surrounded by so many lifeless bodies. I haven't been able to stop thinking about what was happening all around me. It was so demonic. The energy was so demonic. The set was demonic. Travis was demonic. We were literally in hell. Like, it felt like we were in hell. Nobody could breathe. We were all suffocating. Everybody around me was suffocating. We were standing on our tiptoes, and all you see is everyone around you, chins up, gasping for air, and that's all you see around you. There was no room for mosh pits. There was no room to breathe. We couldn't even breathe. We didn't even have enough room to, I'm sore. Like this hurts to take a deep breath today. Like, we couldn't even breathe in there because everyone's bodies were literally suffocating us so bad that people were bleeding out of their mouths and their nose. People were screaming bloody murder, literally begging for help from anybody. There was nothing that anybody could do. The floors were covered in bodies. You're doing your very best. We're fighting for our fucking lives. We're doing our very best to stay up. You couldn't even put your foot on the ground. You're stepping over other people. You're stepping over other people's shoes, just trying to fucking breathe. I'm surrounded by unconscious bodies. I don't even know if these people were alive. There's just people all around you with their eyes rolled in the back of their heads, just being moved with the crowds. There was nowhere we could go. We were trying to push back. We were trying to push back to get out. And we're just getting pushed forward. We're just getting pushed deeper into the crowd. There's sinkholes of people in the crowds all around me. Like, if I would have hit the floor, I would have never gotten up. You can see like adults holding their children up, like trying to get them to safety. There's kids like pissing and shitting themselves as a trauma response. Like, imagine going to your first concert and like this is how you think like concerts are. Like, it took us 30 minutes to get out of the crowd and we were in the back. As we finally get out, you just see people running out, bawling, lips blue. There's people, they're dragging dead bodies out of the crowd. Dead bodies. And Travis knew. Travis had a bird's eye view on everybody and could see everything. He was asked multiple times to stop, and his responses are, "You know what you were here for," something like that, and let's rage.